beautifuls and beloveds, I hope this finds you very well today. So we'll see if our upstairs neighbors follow me here into this room. They followed me into the bathroom. In their unit, of course. They must have some tracking device or something, I don't know. Their kid got a hold of it one day and went to town. We have a video of it, our point of view, and every time we went to the kitchen, you hear the little footsteps go, and then we ran into the living room, and it was a kid. I know footsteps. It was very odd. So anyway, a couple things. This is just called auto accidents. I was like, question mark, or ... question mark. I was trying to come up with a real pithy, cute title, but there's nothing cute about this, and this may be an occasion where we have to hit the nail on the head, so people who see this in their feed will actually pay attention and watch this. But before we get to that, just real quick, if you've been watching our White Sky series, oh shoot, I forgot to do the intro. Hello, beautifuls and beloveds. See, I'm totally, like, unscripted here. Alright, this is Noelle Rose Anderson, hyphen Kale. I'm gonna start doing that. That's cute. Okay, so this is Noelle Rose Anderson, hyphen Kale. I'm bringing you another segment of Dance Warrior. I am Noelle Rose, raw, real, and uncensored, and here I give you dance tips, little dance tutorials and instructions. We show you dance concerts and behind the scenes and dance, but we also encourage you with your life, just like my Dance Warrior books. So I'm going to show you. Can you see the sediment? I think you can, especially this one. It's pretty heavy and bad. This one, yeah, that's all sediment. It's all of this garbage that we're urinating out from all this crap in the sky. So here is, so this was before I was, oops, too high, sorry. This was before I started doing what I do to get rid of this garbage in my body. And here you can start to see the sediment here starting to pool. Not as bad as my beloveds, but, oh look, watch when I squeeze this. Can you see how all this stuff kicks up? We disturbed it a little bit by moving it, but yeah, and this one actually has a little bit of blood in it, I can tell. I'm not a doctor, but I had enough training in the cancer clinic in Mexico, and I pretty much can guess based on the consistency of the urine, the weight, the thickness, the cloudiness, the sediment, what is in that already. Of course, we're going to get it tested just to verify it, because guessing is just guessing. But I wanted to share that with you. So we've been experimenting, and yeah, we're going to get to the bottom of all of these things and completely prove exactly what we found and what we're saying. So, alright, onward. So, this is called auto accidents, and you know, we've had a couple not under our power, but I wanted to warn you guys about something that we researched and we found out. There are certain tactics. There is something that I believe, or we all believe, happened in the 70s, something like that, and a watchdog akin, or maybe it was somebody like David Horowitz, found out this interesting insurance scam that was going on. And basically, I don't remember if it was him exactly, but it made an impression on me, particularly when I was very, very young. And it was kind of startling to even me as a young child. that people would intentionally cause car accidents to get money in the system. You know, if you're injured, you need a doctor, and you need an attorney, and, you know. And, well, I'm not going to comment too much on that. Just do your research, and you'll probably find what we did. Now, what else we found in our research with auto accidents, there are certain things to stage car accidents to get the money in the system. So I'm going to go through a few of these tactics so you can be aware and hopefully preempt any bad things happening to you. So I'm going to number these. Hold on, give me a second here. I hope you guys are doing well. We're doing pretty good on this end, considering okay, these are just a few. There are many, and as I find out more, I'll let you guys know. So I have only 4 of them written here. One is called the pile-up. One is stall with right-of-way. The third one is cut off with tailgater, or is pull out from curb. And I'll explain to you what I mean by those. Now these may or may not be the official terms used, but for number 1, a pile-up. So basically, a way to cause a pile-up accident, and look, I don't do these. I researched, and we actually have examples on video that we could say, whoa, what's going on here? Oh, hold on, let me write a note here. Now these are, I have to say this, opinions, but based on research that we've found, you know, documented things, and based on our experience. So I am not saying that all auto accidents are set up. I am also not saying that all people who are in certain professions, such as doctors, attorneys, insurance adjusters, etc., are corrupt. Corruption happens in every and any profession, because human beings happen in any and every profession. So please do not take this as a blanket statement, and please don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. I just want you to be aware of tactics to prevent you, hopefully, from getting into any accidents yourself. There are things you can do. Drive offensively and defensively at the same time. I'll explain that later too, but a pile-up. So one way that we've seen this happen is, let's say there's a 2 or even 3-lane highway, but let's just say a 2-lane highway. And let's also say that there is a car. Let me draw a little diagram for you. Actually, I think I could do it here. So the pile-up. Let's say it works better when there are big rigs in the right lane. And I'm not saying that people who drive big rigs are doing this. Please just don't misunderstand. Okay, so here we have, I hope you can see this, in the right lane you have a big rig. Now you know that big rigs make it very hard for anybody to see if you're behind them. It blocks so much. there's a lot of blind spots. You have to be very careful. When I see big rigs, I get out of the way for many reasons. So let's say there is a car following behind this big rig, and let's also say there's 2 or maybe 3 or 4 cars following each other pretty closely in the left lane. I always stay more than enough distance away because I've learned from these characters. So let's say this guy here quickly cuts, there's always a cutting off, I'm finding out too, cuts off car number 1 very quickly and then slams on their brakes. Just enough to have car behind them, now they're all in the left lane, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to, but the car that cut them off and slammed on their brakes real quick, they're already long gone because they will take off. So there's no real impact for them, which, you know, not so good. They wait long enough just in time for these people to all slam on their brakes. That happened to us on our way to the desert about a week ago. We have this on video. And you can see car number 3, I think it was car number 5, went off into the shoulder and pretty much almost into the dirt median. So that's one thing. And it happened going, I think it was east, southeast, and also on our way back. And we also found out that, and I wrote a little note here, that there were personal injury, it's called PI, attorney signs in that area, going both ways, on both sides of the highways. I'm like, that's really funny. Again, I'm not saying that corruption with everybody, but, you know, it's just really interesting. Really interesting. Are these things happening organically? Or you have to question it. That's what we're doing. We're giving you our opinion and questioning it. Or is this a setup? Okay, so that is a pileup. And how can you avoid a pileup? Well, please, this is not going to work every time, but it can help. Do not tailgate. Just don't. Don't tailgate. And there's just many things you can do. Make sure your brakes are in good condition. What was I going to say? Don't tailgate. Keep, you know, there's the 3-second rule or the 7-second rule. But it used to be 1 car length per 10 miles an hour. And it's not this anymore, I don't think. Double check. Don't take anything I say for granted or gospel. You need to check and make sure. And if your state's different, you know, they have different assessments. But I keep to this old-fashioned one car per 10 miles an hour, and then there's I think it's a 7-second rule. Because cars work better as far as brakes and everything nowadays, but I don't necessarily think people do. So I'm still the old-fashioned way, and that's what saved us from pile-up accidents, you know, getting involved in it. But I'm telling you, you can hear me on the video, we'll put it up. I was shaking, I was very scared after it happened because you can hear the brakes go, I can't even do it. Yeah, it was metal to metal. It was pretty bad. But you do what you gotta do to stop. And I couldn't pull out into the shoulder because if I did, I could have gone into that person who was in the shoulder. So it's really bad news, but everything was fine. Okay, there's another one. It's called stall with right of way. Let me explain that to you as well. So let's say, how am I going to do this one? Hold on, guys. Okay, this is what we'll do. Cross this off, we don't need that one. Say you are in an intersection and you want to make a left turn. Okay, I hope you can see this. So say you're heading any direction, east. You're heading east, but you want to make a left turn so you can head north. And you have the green light. So that means you have the right of way, and not an arrow now. This is just regular green light. You have to yield, and you have to wait your turn until it's safe, and you think and assess as safe. This tactic is where a car will have all the green light too. So he or she is the driver is heading this direction, and if you weren't making a left turn, you would be heading opposite directions, right? But they will do a stall where they actually don't cross through the intersection. They wait. And so you're there in the left turn lane saying, when is this guy going to go? Is this guy going to go? Should I go? And then all of a sudden you might even try to go. Don't go. Honk your horn and make that other person drive, or get into the right lane, that's going straight. Legally, make sure that you can cross over. If you have to back up, guys, be careful and go straight, but don't mess with that driver, because what we've seen happen is they will wait until you think, oh, I guess they're not going to go. I'll just sneak it in and go. They actually have the right of way now, even if they're stopped. They will start barreling through very quickly into the intersection and make it look like you caused the accident, because you're actually cutting them off. So I just gave you examples of what to do to counter it. So I highly suggest that you do that. Do not go by any means. A cutoff with tailgater. Okay, what this is, these are these dastardly side streets, people. Be careful with these. So what is happening, I'm going to use arrows instead of drawing little boxes for cars. So what happens here with the cutoff with tailgater, you'll have a tailgater on your tail. This is why you have to look back. They say every 10 seconds. I know it's tedious and it might sound stupid, but we have caught so many people following us that way. And then the second, you'll see it on our videos, we'll say, hey, we got a tailgater, somebody's following us. And then they'll turn off real quick after we do that. So it's just so obvious to us that they were doing that. And if they follow us, it's obvious, and it's all recorded. So what happens with this one, you'll have a tailgater, and you'll be heading one direction, right? And so here you'll have like a left turner, and they cut you off. So of course you gotta stop, otherwise you're gonna hit them, right? Is this going? Yeah, it's gone. So you don't want that to happen, right? So what ends up happening is you slam on your brakes so you don't hit them, and it's a very close call. And then the person behind you, because they were tailgating, slams into you, and you have this horrible rear-ending accident. So a way to avoid that is to make sure you look ahead at the side streets. So if you're heading north, look at the east, or the west and the east side streets, driveways, people pulling out from the curb is another one, which I also have that as number 4. Be very, very careful. If you have somebody with you, ask them to help you. Give them a job. Make them your co-pilot. I do that all the time. We have a system. I'll say I want to get into the left lane. They'll look, and we got the cameras going, and we confirm 1 lane left. Confirm, change lanes, and we have a great communication. We've avoided so many accidents with the system, and it's stupid that we have to do it, but really after 2 major accidents like this, I would rather be a little asinine in particular than have this happen. Plus we have video going. We call out license plates. If we suspect anything, we call out the license plates. You'll hear me sometimes. I get very frustrated with our co-pilot, and I'm like, I can't do everything. I can't drive, preempt, and call it out. So you'll hear us from time to time. Sometimes we get into fights. It's like, what number was that? Because they were near misses, and so we record everything, so that helps too. Get a dash camera and also get one on your back, and if you have a co-pilot, we also have body cameras that we use, and we do a pan, so we have all sides all around us on video record all the time while we're driving. And anyway, so this could be a very devastating accident, because if that person making that left turn cutting you off doesn't pull out in time away from you, and if you don't put on your brakes soon enough, you'll what is that called, Jack, I forget the term, what is that called, but anyway, you know, you go right into the side door, or maybe into their door, and oh my god, you know, what a risk that they take, you know, and then bad news, I don't know if they will even survive, and then if they hit you, and just right, you can tail spin like this, and there's a sandwiching that happens. Pretty bad, huh? So, you know, use cameras. Again, watch the side streets, driveways, and curbs very carefully, and that will help avoid accidents. I drive 5, 8, maybe even 10 miles under the speed limit in any given areas, because it's just not worth it. It's not worth it. And I never had to drive this carefully, because it was never like this, but I'm not kidding. You will see in our videos that we'll share very openly and honestly with everybody. Not only do you hear me swearing like a sailor, there are so many near misses, and I've never had this happen. It's just ramping up and up and up. And this started happening that we've noticed, like, you know, we were in our accidents in 2018, but it started getting worse and worse. We've had near misses before, but not this bad. And we started seeing changes around like 2009. A lot of bad things started happening in 2009. That was very interesting to us. A pull-out from the curb, it's basically the same thing that I said in these other ones. What you'll have is somebody who pulls out from the curb way, way too quickly. They're actually waiting. We had one that happened outside here, not too far away, and it was very strange, because like 3 days before, our son was wanting to take a video of his beautiful mom. I was just so proud of myself. I was getting into a bikini again. And we accidentally caught our neighbors doing like a peeping Tom watching us, and then they got into this accident with the same scenario as pull out from the curb. And some weird lane change in the median too. And the very strange thing about it was that same person's like sister or aunt or somebody who got into the accident. I think she was pretty hurt, very badly. And then, interesting enough also, is that the person who was in the other vehicle was saying, you saw what happened, you saw what happened, you saw, and I'm like, that was my dream. My instructor, because we used to walk after class and go get like a coffee or a tea, a hot cocoa afterwards, and it was just so fun to walk off the evening's dance class. So, you know, we would often pass on the road. No one's stalking anybody, okay? It's just that we were going the same direction because that's where the coffee shop was, and so that's the way they went home. And, you know, we would wave, and it was really nice and sweet. Like, okay, let's go get our coffee. But I had a dream, and I talked about it with my family, and I was like, we need to pray for this person because I don't want this to happen. And what happened was there's an area where you can yield onto the street from the school, and somebody rammed into them, and I'm like, oh my god, it was just so horrible. And in my dream I was yelling at everybody to stay where they were because they were witnesses, and we were using our son's phone, and he was recording everything, and I was saying, you saw what happened, you saw what happened, and I was pointing to everybody, and I was like registering their faces the best I could, and my sight isn't that great, so that's why our son had his phone recording, and I was tending to our instructor, and you know, my emergency skills kicked in really well, and that would be the truth, 'cause I'm pretty good with that. Watch the earthquake video. I'm like, okay, let's make our list, let's do this. I'm really with it. I'm really good to have around in an emergency, in a crisis situation. But anyway, yeah. So it was pretty frightening, and they were unconscious, and I'm like, oh God, you know, don't let this happen. So it was pretty frightening. So what was even more creepy was that the words and the actions that were in my dream that I discussed, and you know how we know that we're under heavy surveillance, which is not okay with us. We didn't sign up for this, and we didn't do anything wrong that would call for that. Anyway, it was being reenacted, totally different people, but a similar type of situation in a same area, within like a 20th of a mile from where it happened in my dream. It was like I was writing a scene. My dream wrote the scene, and because I was talking about it, it was in the privacy of our own home, and we're under heavy surveillance, so what can you do? Well, I mean, we're doing a lot. I don't mean to sound flippant like that. Don't worry about it. We're taking care of it. But anyway, you know, so it's all pretty interesting. So this is all fact. I'm not going to draw any conclusions, but maybe you will, right? Okay, so this is an interesting thing that we've noticed too, that every area that we've seen these near misses or an actual accident happen, they all seem to have these personal injury signs. So what we've been doing is cataloging everything. And I say signs or billboards. And we're like, is there something to this? And hopefully there's not, but there might be. And then recently, they're hearing us say these things. So, and who is they? Okay, we're going to find out ourselves, because we're kind of done with this. But they took down those billboards, and I think we were in our vehicle, actually, the last time we were talking about it. Oh, our vehicle's under surveillance too. You saw those videos, the helicopters show up, we were going to get gas, and I'm like, oh my God. It's so obvious. I don't even know. These people, like, what are they trying to do at this point? It's not gonna happen well for them. This is just really stupid. So anyway, guys, I just don't want you to have to deal with these kinds of accidents. And lately, it seems like to us, whoever they are really trying to make this happen to us. So, you know, we were very careful, and if anything happens, we have it very well documented. But, you know, we usually have several people with us as well, so if anything happens, these people are going to be so screwed. Yeah, this is not going to happen a third time. Twice was very coincidental. Now, here's the other thing, too. With our first accident, you can see in the photographs that, and I did a video on this before, the person was way to the right of the vehicle that we were in. And there was no damage done to this person's vehicle, like, at all. At all. And it was so, there was something wrong. There was something wrong. It was like, and the driver of the vehicle said the same thing, and we have that recorded too. God forbid anything happens to the driver. I mean, at least we have everything recorded, you know, documented properly. But they're like that. They must have done something to their vehicle, because it was super reinforced. It was, you know, steel probably. So, you know, what happened in the late 70s, right? Remember what I mentioned at the top of this video? So we're just gonna, instead of making this a two-parter, it's just gonna be a longer one-parter. Remember when I said about, at the top of this video, as a child, I believe it was in the 70s, probably the mid to late 70s, that it was either David Horowitz, Fight Back with David Horowitz, or, excuse me, some consumer watchdog radio show, TV show, something, or a news program where somebody did investigative reporting and found out that there was this insurance scam. I don't know how big it was. I don't remember all the details, but this may be happening again in a more harder to detect way. But, hopefully this isn't what it is, but I have a hard time believing that this many accidents are happening, and I'm having a hard time believing that, it keeps happening to the same people, because once you're a target, they keep targeting you, because these people, it seems like that they're trying to damage the same people over and over again. Because I'm like, wait, how could these people, and then it dawned on me, well, maybe they're just trying to incapacitate them, because if you're in one accident and another one happens, I mean, it happened to us, your body gets weaker in a sense. And, we've taken our own precautions now. Somebody slams into our vehicle, they're going to get a real nice surprise. Yeah. We're not showing mercy to these people. And the guy that, the first accident who hit us, is like, I knew I was too close to stop in time. I knew I was too close for the size of my vehicle to stop. All these things. I was like, why would you say that? I mean, there were so many witnesses, and I'm like, you're gonna, yeah. That sounds premeditated to me. So, hopefully not, but, I mean, come on. Very interesting. So, oh God, what was I saying? Hold on a second. I'm getting a migraine. Why am I getting a migraine again? What is going on? Our upstairs neighbor is spraying like gallons of insecticide, and I'm like, and we can smell it in certain areas. In the middle of the floor, it's the same floor plan, up and down. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense, because usually you'll spray it in the kitchen or along the edges of perimeter. Plus, if they're flying, those little flying moth roachy things, you can spray all you want. That ain't gonna get rid of them. They're airborne. That doesn't work for spiders. We ain't got ants. We don't have roaches, so, Something's funny with that, too. Tell you what, our landlord needs to cut the bushes away from the building. We've had to cut the vines away from the building, because the law is, isn't it, like 15 to 18 inches from the building, so you don't have insects, and it's not as much of a fire hazard, So, that'll get rid of their need to use any insecticide. So strange. Anyhow, car accidents, be careful, guys. Just be careful, because look, there are so many people out there. We know corruption is running rampant. There were too many of these. This is gatekeeper, okay? And you know what? I think that a lot of attorneys and doctors, not all of them, but I think a lot of them need to be retested and have their test legitimately checked by different people. Because I'm very concerned that many times I seem to know more than the attorneys. Okay, and I'm not licensed. I study, but, my stepdad's an attorney too, so I'm not stupid. And they always ask you, have you ever been in an accident before? Under the guise of, they want to know what your prior injuries were. That's not why they're asking you that. Do you know why they're asking you that? They want to know how much they can get away with. So, right away I tell them, hey, don't try to get away with anything, because you're not going to. And they're like, Come on. I know I look nice and sweet, but it's probably why we've gone through so many attorneys. They don't like how honest I am. Okay, so guys, not all attorneys are jerks either. What else do I want to say about this? Yeah, be careful. Get yourself a good co-pilot, cameras, all around 360. Watch ahead, anticipate, drive much slower. You'll be saving yourself a lot of problems. Do not tailgate. Do not tailgate. Use the old 1 car per 10 miles an hour that you're going. So if you're going 10 miles an hour, you should have 1 car length ahead of you between your front bumper and the vehicle in front of you, their back bumper. You go 20 miles an hour, 2 car lengths. But double check me on this, because things have changed. I think that is more space than you need, supposedly, but I put in more than necessary because it's not going through this again. What else? Yeah, I guess that's about it. But guys, check into it yourselves, see what you come up with, share your insight as well. Again, there are more tactics to cause accidents, unfortunately, but these are just a few. Do your research, and you can find out a lot. We are lucky that we have found some really honest people in various fields, and most of them don't live in Los Angeles. I'm sorry, but it's true. It seems like this whole town, they want Stepford wives. Oh, one important thing. We would like to give kudos to President Trump, because he is now asking, he either asked Congress or he signed it as a bill, check me because I could be wrong, that cars are going to be using more steel. Remember how I was mentioning that earlier on in this segment? I think that's important because, like I was saying, in the 1970s, 80s, and they did away, I started saying it, I got off track. They did away with a lot of steel. There's fiberglass. The idea was bumper cars, hey, plastic, less damage. But what the truth is about that is that there's nothing like inertia, just comes sudden stop. I think I'm using that term correctly. And who absorbs that energy? The bodies do. We're getting more injured in accidents. So you have to wonder, did some people, make a deal somehow, in guise of, well, let's say it's really for this reason. Let's say we're, if the cars are made out of less, metal and stuff like that, it won't be as damaging. You need something to absorb it. And there are more, how can I say, well, you know what, just look at the Insurance Institute, the highway thing, the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, is that what it's called? Look at those accidents. Oh my gosh. Years ago when you had the Lincolns, remember them? Or the Pontiacs, and made out of like steel and metal. They had long hoods, big long trunks. You were better protected. No seatbelts, So I'm not saying that we should get these big old tuna boats again, but I personally like a lot of in front and in back of me. My father's that way too. That's why he usually has a pickup. But, they're not made the same anymore. They're not made to absorb that shock as well as it used to be with the metal. Something when we were in the accident, the first one, I can vouch for something. I went completely numb, and I thought I was going to be paralyzed on my left side or have severe injury. And I have some, and I do go numb still from time to time, and I can't feel anything in my hand, like all of this. And I remember intensely everything from my shoulder, my arm. It, you know, in dance you have a release when you throw, and my whole left side just did that. This was very tight. I got tendonitis and all in here. It's really messed up. But it's pretty interesting because it felt like, and I had gotten electrocuted. You know, you play with the outlet when you're a kid, and it's not like on TV or the movies where it goes zzz and you fry or something like that. It's just like a, you know, sudden jolt, and it tenses and it hurts your muscles. It's really a horrendous experience, but that's kind of what it felt like with the energy going through my body. This side was very, very tight, the shoulder strap from the harness from the seatbelt, but this was pretty free. And I'm telling you, it absorbed so much. It just felt like so much energy went through, enough to make my whole side go numb. And there's probably nerve things and all that, and you know, damage and stuff. But you know, I think if everybody had those metal cars again, steel reinforced, we would do so much better. Because I've been watching so many of those videos at the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety that and whether they're going 35 miles an hour, is that what, double check me. I think that's what they're going, and I'm like, how is this any good? I don't want to buy any of these vehicles. Wow, they fared really well. And I'm like, no, they didn't. Are you serious? So, we were just very surprised that the vehicle who rammed into us, it's like steel reinforcement. It had to be. So, yeah. We're not happy about it still. Be careful. So yeah, thank you, President Trump, for either, I don't know where it stands, you either signed it as a bill or went on law, I don't know. But it's a good idea. I think it's about time that this garbage stopped and that people can be safe again. My husband used to work with steel. And the factory closed down, which is a shame, because he was in charge of making chassis and stuff, and he was moving up into upper management, and he learned so much, and he taught me a lot of things too about steel and where they got the steel from, and just a lot of interesting things. And it just made us think about a lot of things that are in the news. And then we thought about something that happened in 2000 and in 2001. You know, just a lot of things about steel are just making us think about a lot of things. And it would be interesting to see, you know, what comes up, what happens next. So, beautifuls and beloveds, take care of yourselves. You know, we'll keep presenting everything as we see it. And do not copy any of our videos and use them for yourselves. But, you know, we can't stop you from downloading them. And maybe this might be a thing that will help us, because the more people that download them, not to re-upload them someplace else, because that would violate copyright. But in case anything happens to our videos or happens to us, you can help us in a sense, even though we might not be here anymore, and fight for what we're fighting for as well. We want the truth known, and hopefully it's not what we think or have videoed or perceived or have proven, but you know, I think some people have a lot of explaining to do. So God bless you, peace, love, and hold those that you love very close and very tight. Nothing like having your life flash before your eyes. You know what? My life didn't flash before my eyes. I was unconscious. There was no flashing. Throw, bam. I mean, that was it. But, you know, afterwards you kind of like, oh my God, we could have died very easily, and we're going to get the answers. We're going to get the answers not only for us, not just so self-serving. Obviously, we already know this information. I'm taking great risks. We are taking great risks sharing this stuff. Not that we can't prove what we're saying or anything like that, but I'm sure that people will be very unhappy with us, and I really don't care anymore. They've destroyed my life, and, you know, anything happens to me, I'm going to heaven. You guys got to deal with it, so. But nothing's going to happen to me, not anytime soon. I'm going to live a very long life. So, again, thank you, President Trump, for that. And I know it doesn't help us retroactively because, you know, the accident's already happened, but, you know, maybe you can save a baby's life. Maybe you can save a mama and a papa, grandparents, a friend, a lover, somebody from a catastrophic accident that causes a death. Maybe it'll keep people from losing, you know, their mobility, all of it. So yeah, steel reinforced vehicles. Again, check with the law. I might be saying something wrong. I don't mean to, but that's what I heard. And let's see what comes about from it. We need steel back in the United States. I think he's getting it, right? Way to go, all his manufacturing. I didn't think he could do it. Not because I was being negative, but I'm like, oh my God, how are you going to do that after it was just shipped overseas? Kudos. Good job, President Trump. I'm very impressed. I'm very happy too. The worst thing to do is get rid of your manufacturing. We need our trade here, made here. That's how you deal with other people. You have to have goods. You know, service, you need all of it. You need goods, you need service, you need agrarian, which is agriculture, you know, not gardening, but farms. You need all of it, textiles, you need all of it so you can trade, exchange with other people. Otherwise, you're putting all that power into another country's hands. Then where's our trade? They have things we want, and then we should have things they want. It's very basic. I mean, I learned this stuff in grade school, I think 2nd or 3rd grade. Like I said, too many of these. All hell broke loose. And we've got all this cockamamie crazy stuff happening. So yeah, let's reverse all this. So good job. Yeah, I'm gonna go. Love you guys so much. Take care. Bye.